Well, the Funny River Road fire on the Kenai Peninsula continues to burn a week after it began. Evacuations are in place for residents from mile 7 to the end of the road.
Now, we do have a map that indicates the growth of the fire as of Sunday, and the lighter parts of the map are where the fire started. The darker areas indicate how far it has spread since then.
The Redoubt Elementary School is being used as a shelter for those who are leaving their homes. And Channel 2's Lacie Grosvold is at the airport, which is located on Funny River Road, just a few miles from where people are leaving their homes. Lacie, what is the latest?
Sheila, it's interesting actually, you mentioned the Redoubt Elementary shelter set up by the Red Cross. As my last check, nobody had actually been using it, and that's because people in the community have really come together to help each other out. Hooligans Lodge is an example of someone, they said that their doors were open to anybody that was trying to get away from their homes. They let people stay for free. You can see behind me there's a lot of smoke. It's really smoky this morning, but that's not really unusual over the past few days. There's been a lot of smoke in the morning and it kind of lifts in the afternoon. The latest estimate from the interagency management team is the fire is 30% contained. We had an update on acreage last night at 156,000 acres. Those numbers should be updated this morning. Crews have been working around the clock. Bear Creek subdivision, that's a remote subdivision with a few homes on it, was successfully protected by a burnout operation, according to the management team. We're close to the airport right now, right across the street. Aircraft activity should be picking up as soon as it gets a little lighter. Last night, we talked to one couple who camped out in a parking lot overnight and described what evacuating was like.
Nervous because we hadn't put everything together yet. You know, we really honestly didn't think it was going to get that far.
And this evacuation order, what officials are saying is that it's a precautionary measure. The reason they evacuated people so that firefighters could concentrate on getting the fire isolated so it doesn't hit these homes, and it's a lot easier to do that when there aren't people in the neighborhood. Reporting live from Soldotna, I'm Lacie Grosvold, Channel 2 News.
Evacuation orders lifted, easing some of the tension down on the Kenai as homeowners pushed away by the Funny River fire learned today they can finally go home.
Good evening, everyone. Homeowners and firefighters have waited for days for the rain, and overnight it finally showed up.
The skies clouded up and gave a little bit of help to crews fighting that massive fire. Now, it started back on May 19th and has now ripped through more than 182,000 acres. Containment stands at 30% tonight. Overnight winds pushed the fire perimeter northeast towards Ski Lake Road, which runs parallel to the Sterling Highway. The weather forecast is calling for continued rain until the end of the week. We'll check with Jackie in a few minutes on that. Emergency crews lifted several evacuation orders today, but they remind residents that the fire can change at any moment and they need to be prepared to leave again.
Channel 2's Lacie Grosvold has been talking with residents all week there and joins us now live with today's reactions. Lacie.
Just to give you an idea of how serious this fire is, this is the #1 priority wildfire in the entire country. There are over 600 people working to put it out right now. During the course of the fire, there were 5 structures that were lost, 4 recreational cabins, and only one of them had a privately owned owner, and that owner has been notified. There was also an outbuilding that was lost, and these were all buildings also that were off the road system. So nobody lost their home that they live in. The rain has been very good for the efforts, but the incident commander overseeing the firefighting says 3 days would be needed to make a real impact. Residents here are under advisory, and they're hoping this is the beginning of getting back to normal.
The evacuation order for the Funny River Road area has been canceled.
The phone call came at 9 a.m.
Good.
Yes. Yay! It's canceled. I want to cry. We get to go home? We get to go home. We get to go home.
Cautiously optimistic, encouraged by the rain. People started soon after they heard word, heading home.
You know, the idea that it could not be here in this particular area that we've kind of grown to love was very, very scary.
We heard the rain on the trailer, and that was a blessing.
Troy Mallett had a tense night Monday night while on evacuation advisory in the Kenai Keys area. In Kasilof on Friday, the fire made a run toward Larry Meyer's home.
Well, I wish it would rain more.
Yeah.
This ain't much of it's better than nothing, but.
Now it's more peaceful. But Larry isn't ready to relax.
Anyway, everybody says, don't worry so damn much, but yeah. That's what happens when you get old. You worry about everything.
He says it's smart to be vigilant, but he's looking forward to when it's not weighing on everyone's mind.
What'd you see? Where it go? And you know, after about 200 times of telling the story, oh, can we talk about something else?
Right now we're at Lydia and James Craycraft's home, and it was in the Funny River fire evacuation area earlier yesterday, but they're actually back at home tonight. So we hope that this is the beginning of, they're hoping that this is the beginning of getting back to normal. And once the advisory is lifted, they'll be unpacking their things as well.
All right, Lacie Groswald reporting from the Kenai Peninsula. Thanks for the update tonight. The Funny River fire on the Kenai Peninsula seems to be slowing down. The Interagency Coordination Center reports a lower rate of growth today. The fire is still at about 183,000 acres.
Channel 2's Lacie Groswald reports there are still more than 600 people fighting this fire. Lacie.
There's new information about the cause of the fire. The U.S. Department of the Interior just announced that they've determined the cause of the fire was human-caused, but wasn't caused by a campfire. Now I'm standing along Funny River Road, where a lot of people have been heading back home over the course of today, and the worries are over for them for the most part, but for firefighters, the work goes on. Containing the fire takes complex machines, but much of firefighting still takes muscle. To get to work, crews sometimes hike across swampy terrain.
It's very uneven, wet, pretty hideous walking, to be honest.
A few days ago, they hiked along a fuel break constructed to stop wildfires. That's when slopovers ignited across the break.
The natural fire comes, and it had like 50, 70-foot flame lengths, and it was very hot, and putting many embers over to the other side. And we were getting spot fires, numerous spot fires.
A few days ago, looking at this same area, Rick Thompson made the recommendation to evacuate the Funny River Road.
And we looked over the valley, and right across the valley are several homes. And so at that point in time, with the high winds, you've just got to call the evac car to get people out of there safely.
It was a measure taken just in case the fire got worse.
And we got the bulldozers around and made another hero save on their efforts.
Now firefighters are changing direction.
It's kind of like one might think of going from defense to offense.
Looking for hot spots.
It's pretty much just snubbed it out, and so then we come through and it's a mop-up stage, so to speak, and just make sure that all the hot spots and all the heat is taken care of, and it's a done deal.
Using their hands to feel for heat, then smother it out.
Well, it takes some time. Hands usually stay pretty dirty for most of the summer.
Fire officials say if the weather cooperates, these could be their last steps.
It's kind of the final steps in putting it to bed, so to speak.
Now, it has been raining on and off a little bit all day. Firefighters say that's not enough to put out the fire, but it definitely helps. Reporting live from the Funny River Road on the Kenai Peninsula, Lacie Groswald, Channel 2 News. Lakes, rivers, and streams run all through the Kenai Peninsula. Firefighters had to balance watching out for waterways with protecting homes. Red retardant marks the forest near Funny River Road.
The reason it's red is dye, so we can see it, so we can connect it, and see it from the air.
Retardant also contains clay and ammonium phosphate, a fertilizer.
Had one area near the Funny River where we did drop some retardant.
Air Support Supervisor Ty Miller says biologists are studying possible effects to the ecosystem. Dropping water helps put out the flames, but sometimes water just doesn't do it.
It retards the fire as it's trying to burn through the fuels. Water would simply evaporate and burn off quickly.
Miller says the standard is to keep it from water to protect fish from smothering.
They always hear that we have to keep it away from the water. So I think there's just a natural connection for people to think retardant, water, bad.
Deputy manager with the Kenai Wildlife Refuge says while dropping retardant on the refuge isn't ideal, it's important to weigh the costs and the benefits.
What we had told the incident commander was to use fire retardant whenever necessary to protect structures off the refuge or to keep the fire from moving off of the refuge.
While lines of retardant stand out now, fire officials say with more rain, it will slowly wear away. Miller estimates the cost for the retardant alone was more than $700,000 for this fire. Reporting from the Kenai Peninsula, I'm Lacie Groswald, Channel 2 News.